got to be the seventh one then, don't it?
That's right.
So you got people try to separate these trumpets, but we don't have time to deal with that today. Let's go now to Revelation chapter 8. We're going to pick it up at verse 1, 8 and 1. Go ahead and read.
And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of half an hour.
Now there was a book, and it was sealed with 7 seals, and as each seal was taken off the book, something happened. Then he opened the 7th seal, and there was silence in heaven for about the space of half an hour. Go ahead and read.
And I saw the 7 angels which stood before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets.
Go ahead.
And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar which were before the throne.
So now you didn't just have one trumpet that had to be blown, you had 7.
Yes, sir.
There were 7 angels that were given 7 trumpets, and as the trumpets began to sound, all of this is stuff that's leading up to the coming of the Lord and the gathering of Israel. Go ahead and read some more.
And the smoke of the incense, which came with the prayers of the saints, ascended up before God out of the angel's hand.
Go ahead and read.
And the angel took the censer, and filled it with fire of the altar, and cast it into the earth. There were voices, and thunderings, and lightnings, and an earthquake. And the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound.
Go ahead and read.
The first angel sounded, and there followed hell and fire mingled with blood.
Wait a minute. He said the first angel sounded, and there followed what? Hell and fire, it said, mingled with blood. When the Lord delivered the church the first time, didn't you have the hell and the fire and all of that?
Yes, sir.
He said the hell and the fire, and it was mingled with the blood. Go ahead and read on.
And they were cast upon the earth, and the third part of trees were burnt up.
Now, let's go over to Revelation chapter 15, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. All this is stuff that's leading up to the coming of the Lord when he's going to gather the church the second time. Let's go to Revelation chapter 15, and I want you to read just one verse, and that is verse 1. 15 and verse 1. Okay, go ahead and read.
And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of God.
And these 7 last plagues, they are synonymous with the 7 trumpets. In other words, you got a trumpet of plague, they are synonymous. Let's go now to the 16th chapter, and we're going to pick it up at verse 3. Revelation 16, and we'll begin reading at verse 3. 16 and 3. Okay, go ahead and read.
And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea.
So you had the blowing of a trumpet, then you had the pouring out of the vial. And the second angel poured out his vial up on the sea. Go ahead and read.
And it became as the blood of a dead man. And every living soul died in the sea.
Go ahead and read.
And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters. And they became blood.
So now you got the waters, it is being turned to blood. And you got the hail and you got the fire. Go ahead and read on.
And I heard the angel of the waters say, Thou art righteous, O Lord, which are and was and shall be, because thou hast judged thus. For they have shed the blood of saints and prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy.
Now skip down to verse 10 and continue reading.
And the 5th angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain.
And his kingdom was what? It was full of darkness. What?
Yes,
so you got the blood, you got the hail and the fire, and you got the darkness. All of this when the Lord is about to return and deliver his church again. What verse are we?
Verse 11.
Go ahead and finish that.
And blasphemed the God of heaven because of their pains and their sores, and repented not of their deeds.
So now let's go back now. Let's go to Exodus chapter 13, and we're gonna pick it up at verse 17. Exodus 13, and we'll begin reading at verse 17. 13 and 17. We're going to go back again and look at the church being delivered. Exodus 13, and we're going to pick it up this time at verse 17. This is the church of old that we're looking at being delivered, but we're going to go back and forward. 13 and 17. 13 and 17. Okay, go ahead and read.
And it came to pass, when Pharaoh had let the people go, that God led them not through the way of the land of the Philistines, although that was near. For God said, lest peradventure the people repent when they see war, and they return to Egypt. But God led the people about through the way of the wilderness of the Red Sea. And the children of Israel went up, harnessed out of the land of Egypt.
So now, he's bringing them down through the wilderness. That is where he's taking them to. He done led the people out, and he's taking them to the wilderness. Go ahead and read on.
And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for he had straitly sworn the children of Israel, saying,
Go ahead.
God will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones away hence with you. And they took their journey from Succoth, and encamped in Etham, in the edge of the wilderness. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud, to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire, to give them light, to go by day and night. He took not away the pillar of cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night, from before the people.
So now, he done brought them out. He done took them into the wilderness. And, it talk about him being a pillar of fire by night and the cloud by day. Let's go now to the 14th chapter of Exodus and pick it up at verse 1. 14 and verse 1. 14 and 1. Okay, go ahead and read.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they turn and encamp before Pi Hahiroth, between Migdol and the sea, and against Baal Zephon, before it should yet encamp by the sea. For Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, they are entangled in the land, the wilderness has shut them in. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he shall follow after them. And I will be honored upon Pharaoh, and upon all of his hosts, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord. And they did so. And it was told the king of Egypt that the people fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and his servants were turned against the people. And they said, Why have we done this, that we have let Israel go from serving us?
Go ahead and read.
And he made ready his chariot, and took his people with him. And he took 600 chosen chariots, and all the chariots of Egypt, and captains over every one of them. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued after the children of Israel. And the children of Israel went out with an high hand.
Go ahead.
But the Egyptians pursued after them, all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh, his horsemen and his army, and overtook them, encamping by the sea beside by Pi Hahiroth, before Baal Zephon.
So now, Israel been delivered. He done took him to the wilderness there, and Pharaoh is pursuing him. Go ahead and read on.
And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. And they were so afraid, and the children of Israel cried unto the Lord.
So now, Israel, they was afraid, and they done cried. So now, Israel been delivered. They've been taken to the wilderness, and Pharaoh is hot on their tail here. So now he think he got them hemmed in which he did, but the Lord going to make a way for the Israel. Go ahead and read on.
And they said unto Moses, Because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness?
Go ahead.
Wherefore hast thou dealt with us to carry us forth out of Egypt? Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, Let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians, that we should die in the wilderness.
So, Israel wanted to stay there in bondage. You understand what I'm saying? So, he said, now, just leave us alone. Just let us stay here and serve the Egyptians. You done brought us out here in this wilderness to die. But they don't know. That's all a part of God's plan. This is how he was going to go about delivering Israel. Go ahead and read some more.
And Moses said unto the people, Fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord,
go ahead,
which he will show to you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, you shall see them again no more forever.
Go ahead and read.
The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. And the Lord
he said, he got to tell them, the Lord going to fight for you. You ain't got to worry about it. The Lord has brought you out here, and the Lord, he's going to fight for you. Go ahead and read on.
And the Lord said unto Moses, Wherefore criest thou unto me?